Steve Sarkisian, we played in the first hour and last hour a little bit about his opening thoughts after the scrimmage. So one scrimmage last Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, now 9 days ago, that did not go great for the offense, especially early where they kind of scuffled and, kicked themselves and offsides, and it is poor. Week 2, Sark said much better. Much, much, much better. And, just from a technical, they were not jumping off sides. They were not dropping the ball. They were actually handling the nuances of the offense and actually got the better of the defense a little bit, which is one of the best defenses in the country. But here's Sark on what they still have to get better at, like what you're still looking to prime between now and 12 days from now when you play Ohio State.
What are your major concerns when you go into a week 1, right? You think about ball security. You think about tackling on defense. You think about the pre-snap penalties, and then you think about special teams. Those are the main things that you're like, okay, how do we take care of the ball really well? How do we work on tackling? And what's that fine line of tackling too much, not enough, so that you can tackle really well in a week 1? Making sure that we're not giving away free yards, before the ball's even snapped, whether that's false starts, whether that's jumping off sides on defense, having the discipline there. And then how do you play sound on special teams? There's so much hidden yardage in special teams, whether it's punting the ball, returning the ball, points off the board, making your field goals, finding areas where you can maybe block a punt, block a kick, things of that nature. So all those are kind of my main areas. Now, naturally, every guy's going to walk out of our meetings tomorrow and say, hey, I got to get better at X, Y, or Z. And so everybody's going to have individual things to work on. But big picture for me, it's like, can we take care of those 4 areas? And if we can do that in those 4 areas, I think the rest of the game will kind of take care of itself that way. And we'll find out if we're good enough or not.
So today, position battles you're having, whether it's the corner, opposite.
All right, so there you go. Those are always the fears of going on the road, whether it's the first game, second, or third game, is, are you going to be able to put the snap ball hold, right? Special teams, the exchanges. And remember, week 2, Texas went up to Michigan last year. You were there, Noah, and Cam Williams jumped off sides a bunch of times. They did have some pre-snap penalties. They did have some self-inflicted wounds, and that they overcame them, because Michigan had no offense and Texas played great defense, and Andrew Makuba had a hell of a game, and the offense got clicking, and Quinn Ewers overcame them, and they just kind of rolled Michigan out of the building. Are they going to do that at Ohio State in 12 days? Probably not.
Probably not in the same fashion.
Because
you never know.
Because, that would be if you told me what's the most shocking outcome of Texas and Ohio State in 12 days, it would be one side blows out the other.
That's fair. Yeah.
And blowout meaning control, like the Michigan game where everybody knew it was over in the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah, it was done.
I don't anticipate that. I think that game is going to be a hell of a football game. I think Texas has a chance to win the game, but there's a reason the line's 2.5. But can I play this for you? Speaking of 12 days, here it is. The first actual TV promo for Texas-Ohio State in 12 days.
Ooh.
The story for this team has yet to be written.
We've never seen anything quite like this.
Arch Manning, what a throw! This is going to be a war right now.
All right, that is from Fox, and that is out. And in it doesn't say it. It's in big block letters. The biggest opener ever, which it is. The biggest opener ever, because we've never had one. We've never had 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3 in a opening game.
Never had
start a season.
Number 1 team in the country as an underdog as well.
Yeah, that's never happened, and we've never had Arch Manning to start a season.
Yeah,
the biggest name in college football, and it's for all the reasons and all the fun. 2 huge blue blood programs. They just played in January. We know that. It was a heck of a game until a goal line calamity for the Texas Longhorns. And here we are, 7 months and a week later, and the Longhorns will face the Ohio State Buckeyes in 12 days. And today's kind of different. Sark is going to actually meet the media today, which is, you're thinking, what do you mean? He's going to do a Monday press conference. And it seemed odd to a lot of us, like, wait a second, he just talked for 30 minutes right after the scrimmage. Sark and this staff is going to go to great lengths to make this week as much like a game week as possible. That's why he's doing it. Like at 11 a.m. today, he's going to do a press conference and talk about the game week. Like it's for the coaches, for the players. They want this week to be as much like it's going to be next week as they can possibly make it for the next, 7 days.
Right.
And then they'll just do it again next week in real time. But this week is a mock week. This week, so everything they're going to do next week, they're going to do this week. And that starts with a press conference where Sark's going to stand up there at 11 o'clock and answer a lot of the same questions he just answered on Saturday. But he's doing it for the appearance, exactly this. For Sark, I'm sure. Just I need to get on schedule here. This is going to be my normal Monday morning. We're going to have practice, and then I'm going to come in here and do an 11 o'clock news conference, and then we're going to do X, and then we're going to do Y. And so everybody in the building understands this is how this works. And so next week comes, and it's not the first time they've done that since last year. And for a lot of the new players, the transfers and the freshmen, this will be the first time they've ever done this. And it's certainly the first time they've ever played in a road football game. So to Sark's points about how do you get there, well, they're going to do all of it this week. Everything they're going to do the next week in real time, they'll do this week. And they're going to go, I don't know if they're going to get on an airplane. I doubt that. But they're going to get on a bus and leave the facility and go stay in a hotel this weekend. And they're going to get up at the time they would get up in Ohio on Central Time or Eastern Time Zone and go to the stadium and do everything the same, which, it may seem like overkill, but at the same time, in the military, they call that reps. You rep it. You don't go on a mission until you've repped it over and over and over and over. Now, they get 1 week to do it, but that's why they're doing it, and that's why Sark will meet the media today. By the way, my buddy Craig Flowers told me, when the United States took out bin Laden?
Yes.
That mission that became a great movie, and people have written books about it.
A great documentary on Netflix about it, too.
You got to listen to Craig Flowers talk about Colonel. He talked about, he was in the lead up to that.
Yeah.
And working with special operators. The amount of times they repped that and then repped every possible scenario. Like at one point they repped that one of the helicopters crashed. They actually repped it. So they understood in muscle memory time how we would react if one of the copters went down or something happened. And I know that's high level, war and that, but same thing for this is why that's how they do that. If you're a special operator and you're among the elite of what you do, this is how you do things. You rep it over and over and over. There's no guessing. If this happens, here's how we react.
Right.
If this happens, here's how we react. There's no then it leads to as few surprises as possible on game day. This is kind of what Sark is doing with this week. It's no surprises, guys. This is what it's going to be next week, and a much smaller level. But I love the idea of muscle memory and repping things.
Sure, absolutely.
It's an important lesson. So that's what they're doing. But again, we've talked about the surprises of camp. I think if you talk to people really close to the program, Cedric Baxter is and has been the surprise of this camp.
CJ
Baxter, yes. His health has been such that even Steve Sarkisian announced in the media that he's now accelerating Baxter's timeline for returning.
Wow.
And being a big part of the rotation and what they get. Because I would say this is to the point of he's been the biggest surprise. If you had told Steve Sarkisian when this camp began that come install for Ohio State, that CJ Baxter would be a huge part of the install, he would have not agreed with that.
Yeah. 100%.
He said, nah, probably not.
No, he sounded surprised the whole time about how fast this has been. He's been vocal about that during, interviews and questionnaires. 2 weeks ago, hey man, you're okay. Now I know you've done a lot of the install or at least the game planning for Ohio State, but now you're going to install the game plan. He would have said, yes, Cedric Baxter will be limited or a minimal part of it. Maybe not at all. Right.
And now he's been so good in camp that it's like, oh yeah, he's won 1A. Now I can install a game plan that includes Cedric Baxter and Trey Wisner and the guys behind them. And I think you could say the same for Derek Williams at safety, which is why they've cross-trained Michael Taff at star. Michael, and remember, Derek Williams got hurt in the Oklahoma game last year.
Yeah.
So he had, he was 2 months past Cedric Baxter, and yet he's back, and that's allowed the defensive side to say, okay, now we can move full bore with Jelani McDonald, Derek Williams and Michael Taff as our starting safeties, with Manny Muhammad, with Jalen Gilbo and Kobe Black rotating at corner. That's our full complement. I think both of those things would have been surprising to them 2 weeks ago.
100%.
And they haven't lost, outside of Andre Kojo, a significant player to an injury that's going to cost them the year, which I think is all positives. So let's get it. Let's mock the week. And we will have whatever Steve Sarkisian says today is 11 o'clock news conference. We will have the highlights of that. It sounds like it's going to be a lot like we heard on Saturday, but, we'll certainly bring it to you here.
I was talking to my dad, actually, about just college football in general. He's getting excited, and, he was asking about Texas in general. He listens to the show, but he was like, what's going to make them different than last year? Obviously, besides Arch Manning and some of the guys that they have that are the young talent. I said, the fact that last year in the beginning of August, they lost their running back one under a Steve Sarkisian offense. Like, that is what prohibited them so much. I mean, there's other things that did, but that was such a tough ask for a guy like Trey Wisner, a tough ask for Jarek Gibson to come in and be the guy, a true sophomore and then also a true freshman, to just, carry the load of a CJ Baxter. And the fact you're getting this guy back and he's already pretty much 100%, it sounded like, damn near, it's pretty impressive. Because we thought by maybe October, once they had that stretch after, those 3 games, San Jose State, UTEPs, the Sam Houstons, maybe that week after when we're seeing them play in Gainesville, he'll be kind of ready, but he might be just fully ready to go at, there's a couple of, 12 days, 12 days?
Yeah, and I wonder if somebody doesn't ask Sark today, hey, is Matthew Caldwell your backup quarterback? And I would like to hear his answer of that today at 11 o'clock, because it feels like it's trending to them. And you ask it point blank like that, hey, is Matthew Caldwell the number 2? Or is it Trey Owens? And see what Sark says. That'll be 11 o'clock today.